याली मदद हमें एक सवाल यहाँ मौसूल हुआ है कि कुरान में सूरह हामीम में एक आयत है जिसका तर्जुमा कुछ इस मुताबिक है, अनकरीब हम उनको अपनी निशानियाँ आफाक में भी दिखाएंगे और इनके अपने नफ्स में भी, यहाँ तक कि उन पर ये बात खुल जाए कि ये वाकई बरहक है। फिर यहाँ पर सवाल होता है, क्या ये बात काफ़ी नहीं है कि तेरा रब हर चीज़ पर शाहिद है? आगाह रहो, ये लोग अपने रब की मुलाकात यानी लिका में शक रखते हैं। सुन रखो, वो हर चीज़ पर मुहीत है। So the question is that if he wants to show us all the signs of inside us, like in our personal world and in the universe, and then he says, don't you believe me that I am the witness to everything? Then why are you even asking for signs? It feels like that. So how do we understand that?
Subhanallah. So first of all, we need to remember in Quran, at the place where Musa and his followers are talking to Musa. So they are asking Musa that you have been telling us that every time you go on the top of the mountain, you speak to Allah. Even though that we believe you, that you do speak to Allah, we wanted to witness that. And Musa says, if that is the case, keep a itikaf, roza, for 40 days, do some ibadah for 40 days. And if you do that, I promise you, I will take you with me on the top of the mountain, so you may also witness what I have been witnessing. Why are we talking about Musa's story here? The concept is same, that Musa was their teacher, their prophet, they believed in him, but they wanted to experience exactly same as what Musa had experienced. Not that they did not believe it. Let's come to our tariqah. When Imam gives us Ismi Azam and says that if I'll give you Ismi Azam and if you practice, inshallah one day you will see the light. Isn't Imam good enough witness for us that he has seen the light? Why do we seek light? Why do we do the ibadat? So actually we are starting from the bottom up, right? That he is the shahid of all things, but at the same time he's giving us the dawat to come and see the light for yourself. Third example we will take before we get into this ayat is like a father and children. Father says, I have done all this business, but you need to go to school so you can learn the business, so one day you can run this business for me. Just like that, Ali Allah, who is the witness of all things, he does challenge us, and sometimes he challenges not only the followers of the Mu'mineen, but all those people who reads Quran, he also challenges them. And how does he do that? And we're going to read this in this 3 ayahs over here. We will start from 52, in which Allah is asking, or Allah is telling Nabi to ask the people that what will happen if this Quran that I have been telling you about, that I have been witness to, the one was revealed to me, it is actually from the Lord, and this Quran is true, and if you die and then you find out that this Quran was true and all the messages I was giving it to you was the true messages, what would you do then? Today, with your free will, you can say, we don't believe you. We don't believe what you're saying, we don't believe what you're bringing, we don't believe in your message, and we will not follow you. The reason you don't want to follow me is not because I'm a liar, because you already know I am Amin and Sadiq, and you guys do believe me when it comes to the physical things and things that you can see. But when I bring you those things, the one you do not see, then you say, no, we're not going to believe you. So what would happen? At the end, you find out that everything I have been telling you is true. What will happen? So then he says to them, so if you don't believe me, Allah promises that He will continue to show you His symbols, His ayat in your physical world around you, outer world, outer universe, and within your own personal world, until you believe. Because once you believe, He would not have to show you, because you already know that is true. So He said, I will continue to show you that. Now the next ayat is Ajeeb or Garib. Okay, then He says, am I not enough? Am I not sufficient enough that whatever I am telling you, I am the shahid over that? Meaning all those things that we are about to show you, I have already seen it. Am I not sufficient enough that I have seen it? And I am the witness to that. And because I have seen it and I am telling you, am I not sufficient enough? So first he telling them with this ayat, one on top, that I am telling you, and what would happen when you find out that was true. Then he says, if you don't believe me, Allah promises He's going to continue to show you. And I have seen it. I have seen it, and I should be sufficient enough. And in the actual translation, go and read this. Read this one right there.
Unquestionably, they are in doubt about the meeting with their Lord. Unquestionably, He is of all things encompassing.
That is the following ayat. So again, the reason that they don't believe, the main reason they don't, because they really doubt that they will ever die and they would have to meet their Creator, their Lord. They truly doubt that. Because if they think they will die one day and they would have to face the Lord, then they would believe everything that He was telling them. Because to Mu'min, Qiyamah is nearby. But to a non-Mu'min, first Qiyamah is nowhere nearby. And it may never happen. And because of that, they feel that they don't have to be answerable to anything and anybody. Again, let's read these three ayahs and understand that how this thing, even though it seems like he's asking a question, but in this question is the answer to the ayahs above it. So look at this one. ए नबी उनसे कहो कभी तुमने भी ये सोचा कि अगर वाकई ये कुरान अल्लाह ही की तरफ से है और तुम उसका इनकार करते रहे हो तो इस शख्स से बढ़कर भटका हुआ कौन होगा और जो इसकी मुखालफत में दूर तक निकल गया है. So here he's talking about at least two different kind of people. One who says simply, I don't believe it. But there are other kind of people. The one who not only are against it, but they go further out to make sure that everything is null and void, and they also make sure that everybody and anybody they get in touch with also do not follow that. So they go against that talimat, against the learning and teaching of Muhammad, intentionally. Let's take that second group. We're not talking about the first one. First one is a neutral group. They just simply say, we don't believe it. Just like in time of Muhammad, there were people who said, we believe it, and there were people who said, we don't believe it. And then there was a third group. The one who said, not only we don't believe it, they went all out to deny it and try to stop the preaching of Muhammad.
So in English, if I were to read this translation, and he's so right, I will read it in English. 52, it says, say, have you considered if the Quran is from Allah and you disbelieved in it, who would be more astray than one who is in extreme dissension is disagreement that leads to discord. So the way you are saying, it's being created for others, not for me, that I'm not only the disbeliever, but I want to create discord in other people.
All right, thank you. So now when we come to the next ayat in question, that Muhammad is telling the people of the time, and remember, Quran is book of guidance, not a book of history. So when we say Muhammad was telling, that is also happening today. So today, the Muhammad or the Imam of the time is saying, the Lord will continue to show you His ayat, His symbols around you, all around you, in outer world, and within you in your personal world, until you believe. Here there is no choice. You will believe one day, because He's going to continue to show you that until you believe. It may be the time of the death that you will believe, but you will believe eventually. Because in this world with this body, you do have a free will to say, I believe or I don't believe. But once this free will is over, meaning the soul has been pulled from this body, with that the free will goes away. And then they would have to believe. At that time, now this is the answer. At that time, he will say, was I not sufficient enough? What I had witnessed? And what it does not say in this Quran, but it is written underlined, that is, he will say, yes, you were sufficient enough. Because when his eyes is opened, when the veil is pulled out, the soul has been pulled out, and all the veils are gone, he will see that he was right. And at that time he will ask, was I not sufficient enough witness for you? And he will say, yes, you are. And the next line, the reason they do that, and I love this word, it's aga raho. No, be sure, 100%, no doubt, that those people who refuse the meeting of their Allah, because they don't believe they are ever going to be present in front of their Lord. Front of the Lord. Now the key word or the underlined word here is Rabbu, not Khaliku. Rabbu. And we all know in the Quran, wherever the word Rabb comes, that is for the Imam of the time. Because you refuse the Imam of the time, not the Allah. Nobody refuses Allah. But people do refuse the Rabb, the Imam of the time. Because they don't think that on the day of Qiyamah, they would have to go with the Imam of the time. And they will meet him. Willingly or unwillingly, they would have to meet him, and they will be answered. They would have to answer to him. They will be answerable to him. And then he says sun rakho again, which is almost same word as aga raho. Sun rakho, that he is over everything.
Encompassing, yeah.
Yeah, he is encompassing everything. Who is encompassing everything? This is same as وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ سَنَعُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. It's the same concept that he is. So here we can say, remember that, sunrakho. Remember that he has encompassed everything. He is over everything. Everything is been encompassed in him. He has the knowledge of all. Not knowledge of all, but you are also encompassed in him. Through him, within him, you will get there. And for cross-reference, I think we should remember 1771, where it says, on the day of Qiyamah, you all will be recalled with the Imam of the time. And so yeah, two cross-references will be 3612 and 1771. So I think that this should answer your question. If not, you can ask again.
Sort of. So what I'm understanding is that it's not really, it's not like a reprimandation. Like he's not reprimanding by saying, does it not suffice? You're saying that this is a question that will be asked of them once they're already reached, and then it's asking them, is it not sufficient? Almost like saying that, do you not see how I'm now? Now do you not see this? So they're experiencing this line, meaning they're gonna see how the Rabb is the witness over all things, and he always was.
Yes.
But so it's not really, they're not being scolded for this. It's there's
Yeah.
something missing here, but in the missing, you're saying is where we have to understand that this happens after the signs have been shown, that he knows he's the truth, which means they've reached knowledge of hakikati knowledge because he is the al-haq. Then it comes as if a question to them at that point: is it not sufficient for you now?
Yes.
That I am the witness, so they see it.
That I was the witness to it. And the answer to that we found was in the ayat above it. Because the way it starts, and how does it start? Right here. So what will happen on that day if you find out that everything I brought down, everything I was telling you, it was true, and you were not believing it? Not only that you were not believing it, but you were against it, meaning that you made sure that no one else would believe me either. So this is more for those people who go against the Imam.
So in other words, there are two groups of people he's actually talking to. One who are disbelievers and one who are within the group creating the disbelief among people. And that's why I think a part of us feel that he's scolding us, because it's those group of people who are being scolded. That it's not only that you don't believe, but you go further and create disbelief in others. So that's why it sounds like a dual kind of communication. That do you not see the signs in universe and within yourself? So yes, there are people who would say yes, we do see, but then there are disbelievers and there are those who are more astray, because they are the ones, they don't disbelieve, have the disbelief in their heart, but they are creating the discord among others. So he's scolding them that I see you what you are doing, and you don't believe. You do know that there is a mulaqat, but you don't believe in it. But Allah knows everything. He's encompassing everything. So that's why it's kind of, when you read like that, it confuses you. What are you saying? I'm not understanding. One seems like invitation, seek more, find out more. There is more for you. And then other is like, you're scolding me. So do I seek or not? Do I find or not?
Right.
Yeah.
Shukr, alhamdulillah.